That's right, family. We talking about, and I seen family had brought up the mentioning how the Israelis got suitcase nuclear bombs, atomic bombs, and that they could fit into a suitcase. United States got them too. And so peoples have been talking about the possibility of the Israelis, man, setting something off in the United States. The Mossad to draw the United States into World War III with the Middle East, with the Arab world, or the Islamic world, because the Turks are different than the Arabs. But the Israelis don't like the fact that Donald Trump went over there with Erdogan, what's his name, Erdogan, which is the president of Turkey, you know, who called on the death of the Israelis. You got Iran, and people thinking that Turkey and Iran could hook up with and attack the Israelis. So and the Turks is looking, I believe, got F-35. They don't have them yet, but I know they had put in order for the F-35, and the Israelis don't want the Turks to have these F-35s, and so it's a big thing going on. And so, is the Israelis willing to attack the United States, to bring about World War III? Blame it on the air, blame it on Iran. But I don't, none of them really got the nuke. The only Islamic country that I know that got a nuke is Pakistan, you know, is Pakistan. But, we've been hearing about the possibility of something popping off that will draw the United States fully into a committed war with uh with the Middle East, with the Arab world, the Islamic world. And so that is a possibility. But that just show you that, the Israelis, man, the thing is, when you read that book, The Protocols of Zion, when you read that book, The Protocols of Zion, you feel me? It show you, even the Talmud, where they look at everything else as goyim. Goyim, meaning you ain't even got a soul. Goyim is something like cattle. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that on the level of cattle. They don't have no respect for Christians. They don't have no respect for Muslims. They don't have no respect for none of that. They look at that as, that those are heretics, that took the Old Testament and created Christianity. They don't have no respect for them. They look at them as though they cattle. So when you see, and when you go into the Talmud and you see what they think about Jesus, man, they talk bad about Jesus. Part of the Talmud say Jesus is in hell, boiling in hot shit. This is in the Talmud. They know that. They say hot excrement, excrement. That's what they say in the Talmud. So they got all of it. And the crazy thing about it, these Christians, they are still, these Christians want to be Christians or faking like they Christian, because Christianity is fake anyway. So is Judaism and Islam. But anyway, but they put the hammock on their head and they go over there. Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, all them leaders. They put that hammock, that's damn near the first place they go. They put that hammock on their head, then they go over there to that Wailing Wall. They go over there on that Wailing Wall, and they get a oath. They get a oath. You feel what I'm saying? And knowing what they say about their own personal religion, Christianity and this, that, and the third, they ignore that. They ignore that. So, that's a hell of an influence on the motherfuckers. That I have to, respect the influence you can have over a motherfucker to be able to do some shit like that. And so, but they are more than willing to start and pop some shit off. I do believe, for the sake, because they back us against the wall. Just like, see, the thing is, just like the United States, you got motherfuckers like China and North Korea. They developing faster now. They got some shit too. So just like at one point in time, the Israelis might have been the most advanced nation over in the Middle East. A lot of them Arab countries or Islamic countries have developed. You know what I'm saying? They got money too. They got crazy dough to spend. So they done bought a lot of tanks. They done bought a lot of missiles. They done bought a lot of planes and shit. So yeah, if they come together, the Israelis gonna have to drop a nuke. They're gonna have to have the United States and the European world. But they're gonna have to have and the European. But they ain't trustworthy. The Israelis know that them Europeans is not trustworthy. Even though they Europeans, they see them as some type of hybrid. You know what I'm saying? They don't see them as, that's why they ain't in NATO. Ask yourself why they ain't in NATO. Of all the people, they would invite Turkey into NATO, but they wouldn't invite the Israelis. I wonder why. I wonder why. But so that says a lot that they don't feel that that the Europeans would come to their aid if, and ain't nobody went over there neither fucking with Iran, but the United States. You know what I'm saying? But the United States feel like they got more to lose because they trying to reclaim this spot of superpower. So they want, some aspect of it, they got to go over there because they look at the Israelis as a ground base for activities. If some shit pop off, they need something over there. They need a base, and the nation of Israel, as we know today, would be a base for the United States to launch any type of assault on the Middle East if shit get ugly. That's why they put them over there for real. So, they're gonna defend that because they can't trust the Arab, because the Arab could put them out of there any day now. You see how easy it is for them to say you can't take off from our country. So they need some country where they would be able to take off from. They need some nation that they would be able to take off from if some shit pop off. So both the Israeli and the United States need each other. It's a marriage in wickedness. But would the Israelis attack the United States? I don't know if they would attack the mainland, but they might sink a ship. I heard something about, do some crazy shit, sink a ship. That would be devastating. You would have to go to war. Like one of them battleships go down one of them aircraft carriers go down, whoo, you have to. You have to. Are they willing to go that far? A lot of people believe so. But anyway, family, click that link down. Yeah. Click that link down there, General Seti Patreon. Get over there. Too Raw for YouTube, Patreon, General Seti, link down there. And the Etsy, General Seti, One Stop. Get over there, get all them DVDs, classic HD DVDs. You know what it is. I see y'all in a minute. Black Pop.